This is the PMP and the Snap. Sneak in a quick lesson into your busy schedule so you can pass that exam. Let's snap in. Hey there, project powerhouses. Welcome back to PMP and the Snap, the podcast where we make project management simple, stress-free, and dare I say fun? I'm your host, Kaye B, and today we're talking about control scope, the process that keeps your project from turning into an uncontrollable monster. You know that moment when stakeholders casually say, oh, just add that one little tiny feature, and suddenly your project is unrecognizable? That's what we call scope creep, and today we're going to make sure it never sneaks up on you again. Before we dive in, let's do a quick refresher on scope management. Scope management is all about defining, managing, and controlling what is and what isn't included in a project. It keeps us from overcommitting and under-delivering. The 6 scope management processes are: 1. Plan scope management. This decides how scope will be defined and controlled. 2. Collect requirements. This gathers stakeholder needs and expectations. 3. Define scope. This creates the detailed project scope statement. 4. Create WBS. This breaks down scope into manageable work packages. 5. Validate scope. This gets formal acceptance of completed deliverables. And 6. Control scope. This is our topic today. It keeps scope in check and prevents unauthorized changes. Alright, let's break down control scope and why it's your best defense against project chaos. Control scope is all about monitoring project scope and managing changes effectively. The goal? Keep the project on track, ensure all work aligns with agreed scope, and avoid scope creep. This process happens throughout the project, not just at the end. It ensures that if changes happen, because let's be real, they always do, they go through a formal change control process instead of sneaking in unnoticed. So let's get started with inputs. You will need the following: project management plan. This specifically is the scope management plan, requirements management plan, and change management plan to guide the scope control. 2. Project documents. Includes requirements, documentation, and the requirements traceability matrix to compare actual work to planned scope. 3. Work performance data. This tracks actual project work like completed task, effort spent, and progress made. And then finally, organizational process assets. Things like change control policies and historical data from past projects. To keep the scope in check, project managers use the following tools and techniques. 1. Variance analysis. This compares actual scope performance with the plan to identify deviations. If something isn't going as planned, this analysis helps figure out why. 2. Trend analysis. Looks at the past scope changes to predict future ones. If a project is consistently seeing changes in scope, it might be a red flag. 3. Data analysis. Includes reviewing stakeholder requests, performance data, and scope documentation to assess whether changes are needed. And then 4. Change control systems. A formal process for evaluating, approving, or rejecting scope changes. This ensures every change is documented and justified. Pro tip: every change request should go through a formal approval. If a stakeholder tries to sneak in a change without documentation, politely remind them, if it's not in the plan, it's not in the project. After controlling scope, you have the following outputs. 1. Work performance information. Data on how scope is being managed and any deviations from the plan. 2. Change requests. If changes are necessary, they'll go through formal process for approval. 3. Updates to the project management plan. The scope baseline, requirements documentation, and other key documents might need revisions based on scope control findings. And then 4. Updates to project documents. The lessons learned register, requirements traceability matrix, and other records may be updated to reflect changes. So, why is the control scope critical? Because without scope control, projects can spiral out of control. A little change here, a small addition there, and suddenly your project timeline and budget is blown into pieces. When done right, Control Scope helps with preventing scope creep by ensuring every change is properly reviewed and approved, improve stakeholder communication by clarifying what's included and what's not, maintaining project timelines and budgets by avoiding unnecessary work, enhance project success rates by keeping work aligned with business objectives, and ensuring smooth project closures by confirming all scope elements are completed as planned. Got it? If not, let's sum it up. Control Scope is a process of monitoring scope and preventing unauthorized changes. Key inputs include the project management plan, requirements documentation, and work performance data. The main tools are variance analysis, trend analysis, data analysis, and the change control system. The major outputs are work performance information, change requests, and updates to the project plan and documents. And then finally, a strong scope control process prevents scope creep, keeps projects on schedule, and ensures stakeholders stay happy. That's a wrap for today's episode of PMP in a Snap. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your fellow project managers. Until next time, keep your scope tight, your change requests documented, and remember, a well-managed scope is a well-managed project. See you on the next episode. There's a new PMBOK coming out this year, and that means the exam will change. Take the PMP exam before you have to learn all new content. Go to pmnotebooks.com to save time and money with a course that respects your schedule and delivers results.